I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and I'm just going to talk about Shang really quick, and there's going to be spoilers. This was the best solo movie I think Marvel has done since Black Panther. I didn't even feel like I was watching a Marvel movie. We start off with learning about the dad's background and him with the actual 10 rings. Now, if you remember the 10 rings, people were really pissed off because it got brought up in the Iron Man series, and then we got the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, and I didn't mind it. I didn't hate that. I understand why people did. I understood why people were mad about it. I got it. So the 10 rings, that name already had been dropped in the past a long-ass time ago, but now we're getting the actual 10 rings. It's different in the comics, but his dad's name is Wenwu in the movie, I believe. He's been alive for 1,000 years. He's got these crazy-ass rings that can do crazy-ass shit, and it was badass. It was sweet how they utilized the rings. That was sweet. So since these rings gifted him with long life, these powers, all this stuff, he essentially has been like the League of Shadows in Batman Begins, the entire Nolan series, but whatever, you know what I mean, the League of Shadows. Like, they've been making governments fall and been working in the background the whole time to control the world and all this shit. Instead of the League of Shadows, they call themselves the 10 Rings because he wears the 10 rings. He does call himself a god, but the second I heard him say that, I was like, oh, God with a little G, like in Guardians with Ego the Living Planet with Peter Quill's dad, Star-Lord's dad. He calls himself a god with a little G. That's kind of how I felt about this guy. I don't know if this is going to be connected to the Eternals. I don't know if this is going to be connected to something else, but yeah, he refers to himself as a god. I thought when he met their mom, that was we went and saw it at the drive-in first and foremost, which was awesome. But my friend was like, I know it's a little cheesy, because she had already seen it, and I was like, I don't think this is cheesy at all. I think this is fun, and I like it, and it's badass, and it's just, I like this a lot. It's really cool. She is a gatekeeper to this other dimension that you can get to from our planet, but the special, it's like, it was a lot like Wakanda. I got a lot of Wakanda vibes, except different. It was like Wakanda meets the Sorcerer's Sanctum mixed together, and it was but this other world that somehow their gate is on ours and all this stuff, and she's a gatekeeper of it, so she has all these powers, and it was very, very Avatar: The Last Airbender, so it was like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but done by Marvel, and it was really cool. And their fight scene of her using the elements and being in touch with nature, you could definitely tell there was a lot of Tai Chi involved. It was super cool. Their little romantic, flirty fight, and then we cut to them having kids and her actually leaving this magical, special place. We get introduced to Shang-Chi, and I do like that they like play a joke on the audience. They're like, okay, no, pronounce it right, and it's Shang-Chi, and if I'm probably butchering the shit out of that, but I did think that was the joke about him changing his name to Sean was funny. It was just, I thought that played well, and I thought it was genuinely funny. When we finally meet him, that's when the movie already moves very fast. I didn't realize how long it was, and it didn't feel like it was as long as it was, and that is saying something. We meet him and his buddy Katie. They work together. They work in ballet. She likes to drive fast cars. That comes back later in the movie, and it pays off, so it makes sense. Then we get them with her family and kind of the dynamic of you don't give up your name and legacy and family and how important that is. Then it's immediately to the bus and immediately to here we fucking go, like action, kung fu, badassness. I'm glad that I saw it at the drive-in, honestly, because I yelled, shut the fuck up, Flowers, so many times. I guarantee you, I wouldn't have yelled it as many times. I definitely would have yelled, shut the fuck up, at least twice in the theater. I probably would have been kicked out. The second he did the jacket thing, I was like, oh, that was a Jackie Chan move. That was badass. And she goes, how did you know that? She was like, she said one of Jackie Chan's, like, #1 guys was the choreographer on this. And that was definitely an homage to him. There was a ton of little homages to him, but that for the jacket one, that's a Jackie Chan move on the bus. I was shocked at the amount of violence that they were allowing to be shown. Okay, let me put it this way. If you've already seen it, or if you watch it, think of it like this. Take out the magic rings and replace that with a gun, and you have a totally different movie on your fucking hands. When the 10 rings come to get his pendant thing, and I thought that was going to play more of a role, but I was glad it didn't. I was glad it was like this little thing. It's like a key, but anyway, they're coming to snatch his pendant from him, and his friend's like, does he look like he fights? And then he's like, okay, yeah, stop, guys. And then they fucking straight up and I just don't expect this from the Disney MCU right now. It's like they showed a guy like straight wreck her shit. That's when he's like, okay, now it's fucking on. And so now it's fucking on. And the fight was, they were not holding back. He was throwing people off this bus. It was flying and going out of control, so they were not surviving. He was bashing skulls, and it was, a couple people got back up a little bit, but no, a lot of people were thrown out that bus. A lot of people were killed. It was great. And then it didn't get like, it's Marvel until, and this was still badass, was when the last one shows up and has no arm at first, and then has a fucking sword come out of it. It was like, okay, yeah, no, we're back in the MCU. I forgot. Obviously, his friend is like, what the fucking fuck? They just go straight into it. Bing, bang, boom. By the way, my dad runs a super secret organization. I was raised in the assassin life, and yeah, that's just how it is, and now I ran here to San Francisco. And she takes this very well. It's not a knock on it. I just realized how quick, like I said, this is a fast-paced movie, and they were just like, yep, nope, by the way, this, and this, let's go. That's when we find out he has a sister, and he's like, shit, they're gonna go for my sister next, we gotta go. They fly to China. They're going through what, and I feel like this was a red herring to us because it looked a lot like Madripoor, but it's not. Madripoor was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, this and the other thing, but essentially his sister's running a fight club. That's when we first get to see Wong, who is Doctor Strange's buddy, fighting with Abomination from The Incredible Hulk before Edward Norton and shit left. Wong and the Abomination are fighting in the ring at this fight club. Obviously, when he showed up and said who he was looking for, they were like, yeah, come right on in, and they immediately tell him he's going to fight. So he's getting ready to go fight in the ring, and people are going to gamble on it. But while they're explaining that to Shang-Chi, he is watching the Abomination and Wong fight, and that fight was sweet. When the arm came through and knocked himself out with Wong doing his portal shit, that was badass. But the way they were talking was like they were friends, which I kind of thought was odd, but I was like, okay, whatever. It was just, okay. I'm sure it'll be explained later, but I just thought it was weird that they were talking like they were buddies. When Shang-Chi's finally up to fight, guess who comes out? His sister. I really liked his sister. I thought it could play off as one note, and she didn't. Everything in this is choreographed so well, I can't speak about it highly enough. It was amazing. She beats his ass. Finally, after their fight, they're chit-chatting, and then he's like, no, he's fucking coming. Like, they got my pendant. They're coming for yours. And she's like, fuck. Then you hear the alarms. She dips out. Well, what you think she dips out. 10 rings show up. Badass fucking fight. And the whole time, their dad has, like, a right-hand assassin. I didn't think the way he went out was... I don't think they should have done that. Anyway, we'll get to that. But I was like, really? We're not going to have a one-on-one with this guy? Okay, whatever. But, yeah, so there's like this one like hardcore mask fully covering the face with badass paint assassin that's like the right-hand man of the big bad, their dad, and he shows up with the rest of the 10 rings, and they're all fighting on the outside of a building in like bamboo fucking chutes a million feet in the air, and it's sweet. Well, his friend goes to eat shit, and that's when his sister reappears, and she's like, yeah, now you know how it feels when you left me behind to live with fucking dad who treated me like shit in the assassin life. Really do they do a good job of running through the sister's backstory when you first meet her and having the emotional beats hit without lingering on it for too long. He left. You end up finding out later why. She was like, I thought you were going to come back for me, and you never fucking did. So she felt abandoned by him. We also end up finding out that his mom has passed away. Eventually, him, his friend, and his sister all just go with the dad. They're not going to win. They leave for the compound that the 10 Rings is all up in, and this, I don't know if they shot this in the dome that the Mandalorian films in, or if this was on location, because this is a gorgeous movie. When we get to the compound for the 10 Rings, we get more flashbacks of how he grew up, how she grew up. The dad starts talking about your mom's calling to me. Ben Kingsley is there, the actor who played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. He's just like hanging out, and they like refer to him as a fool and a court jester, and I know there's an after credits scene or short with him in it from a while ago, but anyway, I love it, and I loved that he was there. I was like, oh my god, Ben Kingsley. I thought he was genuinely funny. So he's there with that weird little animal creature. The creature design in this is awesome too. On this compound, we're getting all the backstory. That's when he's like, oh yeah, give me your fucking pendants, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to find your mom in this mythical other dimension world that we can get to that she's from. And I can show you the map if you give me these pendants. And he sticks them into the dragon's eyes. And what I really appreciated, now, I also might get corrected on this, tell me if I'm fucking wrong, but what I really liked, because fire-breathing dragons, that's a European thing. Like, that's a Celtic dragon. In China, I believe, now, like I said, if I'm wrong, I am really sorry. I'm pretty sure dragons, they're not meant as like a destructive thing. They're meant as like good luck, but they're also represented heavily by water, not fire. Fire-breathing dragons are in Europe. They're stouter. You know what I mean? They look like in Game of Thrones. A Chinese dragon is, I think I have one on my shirt. They're long, they're slivery like snakes, and they normally are represented by water. I thought that was very cool throughout the film that water was used a lot with the dragon. Their dad's like, nope, your mom's calling to me from there. They're holding her captive. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to use this map I found from your guys' pendants, and we're going to go invade. We're going to fuck them up if they won't give me your mom. And they keep trying to tell him, like, you're fucking crazy. Ben Kingsley, the guy who was pretending to be the 10 Rings guy, the Mandarin, so the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, Shang-Chi, his sister, and his friend, they are all now dipping out to go to where his mom is from, find it, and tell these people what's about to happen, and then his dad's coming. I really thought that was cool, going through the bamboo and everything, and going through this forest, and then we open up onto Ta Lo, and it was gorgeously done. I highly recommend seeing this in a theater. I'm definitely going to go see it in a dark, closed theater now after watching it at the drive-in, and it was still beautiful at the drive-in. We get all these, and this is what I really appreciated, was we went from this very real story going on, like I said, this assassin life happening, to now we are in this mystical world that is connected to our own, and then you remember, oh yeah, I'm in the MCU, what the fuck, this is awesome. And like I said, the creature design in this is so cool. Those lions, they have these enormous lions, they're so badass. Everything about it, all the creature design, the whole design of Ta Lo, everything was beautiful and awesome. It was amazingly done. We find out about their backstory with their protector, the Great Dragon, and they have dragon scale armor. And this is, like I said, it was very much like Wakanda. And they make a point to say that in the end credits scene. They're like, it's not vibranium, and they use dragon scales to make their armor and dragon scales. So use of, it's very much like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, their way of using the elements and energy is what protects them and gives them their powers and all this other stuff. In Wakanda, they have vibranium, so they've been able to surpass everybody else's technology and everything. Very similar, but one is nature and one is technology. Meet their aunt. She immediately is welcoming to them, tells them what's going on, tells them, no, your mom ain't here. Your dad is being essentially told this by an evil entity that we have had locked away and kept past the gate. And I think it's an interdimensional being, kind of like in What If, that we've been talking about. She keeps telling them, yeah, our great protector, this dragon, locked away this evil, terrible monster, this giant entity, this with evil spirits that suck your soul out, and one of them is getting into your dad's head and telling him to believe this shit. Because it knows he can get me out using the 10 rings. After we learn about the gateway and the giant monster and the evil spirit entities and soul sucking and all that shit, is when we get the back, and this is when I realized, oh shit, this has been pretty crazy. And it was the backstory on how the mom died. This guy's on like some Oren Ishii shit. We get a flashback, and it's the mother with, and I have a theory too, their mom with both of them in the courtyard at their home. After their mom and dad got married, their dad gave up being a piece of shit and was gone for some reason, and I'll tell you what I think that reason is in a second, but he was gone for some reason. The mom's home with the kids. This gang shows up, and at first you think it's only 5 dudes, and you're like, oh yeah, she'll take them on, everything will be fine. And they're like, oh no, we want what's owed to us. She says, my husband doesn't do that shit no more, blah, blah, blah. She can tell they're not fucking around, so she says, my kids have nothing to do with this, let them go then. And they agree. They say, okay, well, your children can go, blah, blah, blah. She prepares to start fighting. And Shang-Chi is now, he went inside, but he's peeking out the door and creeping. And that's when you see a shit ton more people enter the gate. So now she's completely surrounded by a ton of men. They don't show anything, which I thought was, not only did they probably have to do that, but I thought it was very smart to do that because our minds can make up way scarier scenarios. So this little boy is watching his mom put up a fight and eventually die. Cut to dad coming home. He's standing over, Shang-Chi's standing over his mother, trying to get her to wake up. Some real Simba shit is happening. His dad's like, oh, fucking A. And that's when he decides, fuck this shit, I'm gonna put the rings back on. I like the dad. I liked everybody in this, but that's what you're supposed to. Okay, another thing I noticed, when she goes out to take her fighting stance with them, and this is on purpose, because you can't, it was focused in on and too bright for it not to be on purpose. She purposely has her left hand out first with the wedding ring, and I think that that's a symbol of, we put on these rings, and he gave up those rings. And then she dies, and he gives up this ring and puts on his fucking crazy rings. What have I been saying, everybody, if you've been caught up on all my videos? Families, they're complicated, and they make the best to write about. They make the best stories. All this guy really wants is his wife back. That's all he wants. Then he tells him, blood pays for fucking blood. Dude, that's a debt that has to be paid, and all this shit. And he's like, assassin life, let's go. And I literally say to my friend, I go, he looks so adorable in his tiny suit, because it's a flashback, and he's a little kid. I was like, oh, look how cute he is. Walk into this bar. He tells his son, okay, hang out for a second, walks up to the table, starts murdering everyone, and then asks where their boss is, and then continues to murder, and then walks up, and his kid is standing right there, and he point blank, like I said, if it was a gun, it'd be a totally different movie, but since it's Marvel, shoots him point blank range with the 10 rings, and is like, let's go. He just watched his dad murder a room full of people, and then was like, yeah, that's what you fucking do, let's go, and also continues to train him to be a trained assassin his whole life, and it's wild. Now Shang-Chi's all grown up, not even grown up, he's 14, he's still fucking traumatized and fucked up, and his dad's like, hey, I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you avenge your mother. Here's the mission, go ahead. So he left the compound. His sister thought, oh, you dipped out on me, you ran away without me, but the truth is, no, he was sent on a mission to fucking murder the guy who was in charge of this gang that killed his mom, and he fucking does it. He does it, he kills him. We don't find that out until later on, but shit. Like, I didn't think he was gonna say yes, I thought he was gonna be like, no, I walked away, and he was like, no, I fucking did it, I fucking killed him. I was like, thank you, Marvel, thank you. Thank you, a complex character. And I love Marvel, but I'm like, yes. Yes! Instead of going home, he tried to start a new life in America, and his dad always knew where they were. It never mattered. His friend Katie is she's not shoved to the side, but she's not shoved down our throats, and I thought Awkwafina did a great job. She wasn't too shoved in our face, she wasn't too annoying or like too much. I thought it was just the right amount, and even her little story of, first she's being told she can't do something, and now she's being encouraged to, and same thing with the sister, when her aunt tells her, we train equally here, both men and women, but it's not crammed down your... This movie did that perfectly. My friend said, this did a way better job about girl power than Star Wars did. And I was like, I didn't even think about that until you just said it. And that's how you fucking do it. When something is subtle and done well, the audience doesn't realize what you're doing. And I was so sucked up in the story, I didn't catch that. Putting a message in something without beating me over the head with it, or going, here, it's blatantly fucking obvious because you're all fucking stupid. Let me spoon feed you like a dumb little baby. You get a whole training montage. Like I said, his friend Katie, and I thought this was an interesting choice too, was at first when she shows up, an older woman is the one telling her, like, you can do stuff. But then when it comes down to the battle, she tells her to hang back, and the man is the one who's like, deep breath. You got this. Like, you're good. And so I really like that they flip-flop that. And once again, like I just said, that is sending a message without beating somebody over the head with it and going, look it, it's all girls. Don't you know what's happening now? Girls can do stuff. Yeah, I know we fucking can. Our tits don't get in the way. We can actually do things. But then we get to Shang-Chi training with his aunt and doing some straight up fucking airbending shit. Like, it was straight up Avatar Last Airbender in a good way. In a good way. It was awesome. And she was showing it, and you can tell that Tai Chi was heavily used to inspire these movements. It was so cool. It was awesome. I loved it. But yeah, no, so she's showing him, like, no. Like I said, we fuck with nature out here, and they're fighting and sparring, because that's what he said. He said, my mom is the only one who could beat my dad, so you need to show me. We don't see him bend. I don't want to say bending, because I don't know if they want, whatever. We don't see him bend the elements till later on, but he starts one-upping her, and it's quickly gone through, but very well done. And I thought the effects were very cool. When his dad finally comes to invade, and they started putting dragon armor on the fucking giant lion animals, it was awesome. Dad rolls up, he's got the 10 rings of them, they start going at it. This battle is so sweet, so badass, so well choreographed, awesome. Then we see the dad just walking straight through. And I thought this was very telling. I like this a lot, that the dad just walked through this battle to his wife's shrine before he even thinks about going to do what he's there to do. And I really liked that. So where he has the first fight with his son, when he shows up, I loved this. When he showed up to fight his dad, he said, I'm not afraid of you. And his dad steps up and just goes, yes, you are. I screamed. I was like, fuck yes, dude. I like this dad. That was bad as fuck. That was badass. The guy next to us was doing dabs in his car, that's totally fine. We didn't have an issue with it, but we started kind of laughing about it, and and then he drove away from us and parked somewhere else. That wasn't that bad. Whole joints like a normal person. They have their first fight. Dad beats his ass, kicks him into the water. That's when I was like, Flower, if a dragon comes out of this fucking lake, I'm gonna shit a fucking brick. Shang-Chi is sinking. Battle is still going on. Dad is going to the gate. Dad is punching the shit out this gate now, and it's all dragon scaled up, and they're starting to fall, and these face-sucking flying creatures are coming out. So everybody from Tao Lo is like, no, motherfucker, you need to get on our fucking side, and we need to take this threat on, because it's about to be a problem. At first, they're like, no, we're not doing that, you're fucking lying, until somebody gets sucked up, and then has their soul being fucking Azkaban out of their fucking body. And straight to Azkaban, getting Dementored the fuck out. They're getting their soul sucked out, and then they're like, okay, no, we'll be on the same side. That's when we get that main assassin gets snatched up by one of the flying suckers and gets sucked. And I was like, really? I thought we were gonna get a one-on-one with this motherfucker. So now we're all on the same side, the 10 rings and fucking the Tao Lo people, and we're taking on the soul suckers. Having alley-oops with lion creatures wearing armor, tearing these creatures up. What else do you need? From assassin kung fu movie into fucking Crazyville real quick, and I like it. Now we're fighting the soul sucker face grabbers, and Dad is still trying to punch the fucking door open, and everyone's going, what the fuck? Get to your dad. Shang-Chi, where are you? This motherfucker comes out the goddamn water on a motherfucking dragon. The detail on this fucking dragon. Did you guys see its horns covered in algae? That was a nice, the design on this was awesome. It was so cool. So he's riding a fucking dragon now. Water is being waterbended. Shit's getting crazy. We're coming for Dad. Still getting our ass beat by Dad. Great Protector Dragon is trying to fucking help out. Its eyeballs are getting fucked with. The sister saves the dragon. Shang-Chi and the dad are still going at it. Finally, 5 of the rings change sides. And now the son can wield them. And now they're going back and forth with these fucking ring whip things and doing all types of crazy shit with them. And it's sweet. Shit they were doing with the rings, I was here for. I really enjoyed that a lot. Now we have a kaiju burst out of the fucking wall. Not only did we have a kaiju burst out of the wall, but it's got weird Cthulhu sucker things on it. And I'm like, why does everything have this now? Is it an interdimensional being? Just like all these things we're getting in What If that look like Tentacle Cthulhu Man? Tentacles are becoming a thing in the MCU. Sucks up Dad. I took this as he finally accepted the fact that he could pass on because his wife really wasn't there, and he realized his son had what it took to control the rings. I thought that it was he accepted death. Gives his son the rings. Cthulhu monster kills Dad. Then he fucking straight up jaws a fucking kaiju. He straight up punches a kaiju dead in its shit, and it was awesome. We have the army that is not fighting each other now, fighting the soul suckers, and now they are all like, shit, we have this giant kaiju to fight, so they're all fighting this, and now the dragon's getting involved, and the sister's driving. The sister is riding the dragon now. It's badass. Shang-Chi's got the rings. They're going at it, and I literally turn to Flower, and I say, is this motherfucker about to Kamehameha this guy? I was like, is he about to Kamehameha this motherfucker right now? That's what his friend literally says. His friend brings it up at the end of the film. She's like, yeah, and then he Kamehameha waved this motherfucker. And I was like, Flower, you were going to let me say that and not tell me that it's brought up, but it did. It was straight up Kamehameha wave. Using the 10 rings. Let's get real. That's what it was. It was so cool. It was so cool. The dragon got involved. Shang-Chi got involved. The sister got involved. Everybody got involved. And then they let the kill go to the friend. And like I said, they didn't cram her down our throat so much, so it wasn't annoying. I liked that. I thought that was cool. Oh, I'll tell you guys what I think. I think when the dad was gone and the mom got killed was when he was handling the Mandarin ordeal with Tony Stark in Iron Man 3. So I think that there's going to be some type of issue there. I thought it was a really nice choice for him not to... I really did think he was going to drop his sister, but then he didn't. And I was like, oh shit, he got to lose his whole family. And then he's like, no, I'm not leaving you. So it's like that came full circle. We ended up finding out in the end, though. And I knew the second he said that, in the ending, he says she went to go break up the 10 rings. And it's like, yeah, okay, bullshit. Who's going to break that up? I'm sorry. Somebody who builds up fight clubs? Hell no. She's going to fucking take it over. And that's exactly what she does. Yeah, so after all the action's over, because it's literally like an hour of just action. It's just like go, 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 go. But once we get to the very end, it's him and his friends that we see him talking to in the beginning. Him and Katie, who just offed this kaiju with a crazy-ass arrow with nature technology from another dimension, are telling their friends what they just dealt with. And they're like, yeah, okay, we get it. You're trying to one-up us because we made you feel bad last week. And they're like, no, this really happened, yada, yada, yada. Then that's when we see the portal start to open and Wong from Doctor Strange come through. So after Wong comes through the portal, he's like, nope, I need you guys to come with me. Chugs one of the drinks at the table. Everybody's like, what the fuck? And they go through the portal with him. We get to the end of the movie. Then we get a mid-credit scene. That's when, not Professor Hulk, but Banner. Bruce Banner's there. Captain Marvel's there, and then who else was there? I had to go to the bathroom, so I was really trying to pay attention. So it's Wong, Banner. I thought it was just interesting it wasn't Professor Hulk. It was Banner. Captain Marvel. I could just look it up. I think there's some other motherfucker there. And all of them are saying, we don't know where these rings came from. It's not vibranium. We've never seen anything like it. Captain Marvel, who's all over space, she's never seen anything like it. They start saying how old it is and how it's not on record at the sorcerer shit with Wong and Doctor Strange. They don't have it on file, so what the fuck are they? And when he activated them, it set off a beacon. So I don't know if this beacon is for Kang the Conqueror, which we just got out of Loki. I don't know if it's Galactus, like people are saying. I don't know if it's Gore the God Butcher. I know I had a couple down here. Or does it have to do with the Eternals? I don't know much about the Eternals, so tell me all about the Eternals in the comments. I'm really excited for it. I want to talk about the trailer, but maybe it has something to do with them. But obviously, if a beacon is going through the entire Earth and pinging out, it's got to be something big, right? It's not fucking Mephisto. And at the end credit scenes, when we find out the sister never dismantled the 10 rings, like I said, she's putting them back together. And I find it very interesting that we had Sharon Carter, and spoilers for Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sharon Carter was the power broker. Valentina's Madame Hydra, the lady who's at the end of that, who's in the end credit scene for Black Widow, who was with Yelena Belova, and one who gets the wannabe Captain America, U.S. agent on their team to make like a Dark Avenger. But her, I just think it's cool that they have Valentina, who did I just say? Sharon Carter, and now Shaolin as these 3 female villains who run these enormous entities. I think that's very cool. And it, once again, when it happens naturally, cool. When it's forced is when we can be like, oh my God, don't pander. I don't know shit about this character. I don't know anything about this character, so tell me what you think down in the comments. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is just my reaction. Like I said, I just left it like an hour ago, barely. I came home, put some makeup on, and didn't even do my eyeliner because I was like, I just want to talk about my reaction to this because I don't know shit about this character, and I'm sorry that I probably butchered the name the whole time, but I'm super stoked about it, and I can't wait to talk about it more and how I can connect more into the MCU. But yeah, no, remember to like, share, subscribe. It really helps me a lot. What you thought about it. Tell me if you're going to go see it in a theater or wait for it to be on Disney+. I highly recommend you go to a theater. And we're still doing the giveaway for the glow-in-the-dark stand and Loki horns at 300 subs. And all you have to do to enter to win is subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on any video. All right, guys, I'm Abby. Remember to stay safe out there.